Hey guys, and we just got the announcement of a Nintendo Direct, but not just any Direct, a Donkey Kong Direct, since we are getting some more information about Donkey Kong Bananza, and I'm really excited. So in this video, we're going to discuss this announcement and our predictions and hopes and various things about this. But joining me is Demeech, who's also really looking forward to Donkey Kong Bananza.
That is an understatement. This is one of the most exciting games I've ever seen. It's since Super Mario Odyssey, there really haven't come that many games that have come close to the excitement I had for it. Except for maybe Super Mario Bros. Wonder, but definitely Donkey Kong Bananza is on that caliber, if not even more exciting. I was wondering when they would have a new trailer for the game, but knowing that we're getting a full-on dedicated Donkey Kong Bananza Direct, that is the coolest thing. Donkey Kong literally went from over a decade in hiding, and now he's getting theme parks, he's getting a brand new 3D platformer, and his very own Nintendo Direct.
Yeah.
Oh, and Donkey Kong Country Returns HD.
Yeah.
Who could forget about that?
Yeah, move over, Groose. It's Donkey Kong's turn now. But yeah.
Put that on a t-shirt.
But yeah.
That needs to become merch.
But the first thing that we're going to discuss is the way that this was announced. Because it was actually announced on Nintendo Today an hour earlier than everywhere else, similar to Splatoon Raiders, which I think is pretty interesting. That's actually how I found out about the announcement, since I have notifications on for it. And I wake up earlier because of my internship now, so I found out about it first through Nintendo Today. So I think it's kind of interesting how Nintendo has been pushing out these announcements like on Nintendo Today, and Nintendo Today kind of has the priority now.
Yeah, I was really surprised with Nintendo Today because with a lot of Nintendo's apps and stuff like that, they don't really go all out with them. Look at Nintendo Switch Online. They drip feed games. It's gotten better. Your gift card's gone to better use. But at the same time, it's not exactly the best strategy and it doesn't seem like they prioritize it. Then Nintendo Music is the same thing. So with Nintendo Today, I was just expecting, okay, this will be another app that they don't really prioritize. But no! They are doing a pretty good job announcing game information, stuff like that. I didn't know that it was announced an hour early because I was asleep. I am a night owl, so that's why I didn't get the notification until I woke up. But with Nintendo Today, Nintendo did something that really just shot themselves in the foot, where they wouldn't allow people to screenshot or screen record anything from the app anymore. So if you wanted to share the new footage of Donkey Kong Bananza on any other social media platform, for example, you couldn't do that. I actually saw one of the biggest Nintendo fanboys even criticize that, so It's a big problem.
Yeah, it's just really weird. It's like sometimes Nintendo does these decisions that just ultimately hurt them in the end. They think oh, we're preventing people from using the app if we allow people from sharing screenshots. But no! Sharing screenshots is how you get this information around. That is how this information spreads. You see I remember when Mario Kart World was all of these things were being announced, the image of the cow was just spreading everywhere online. Spreading screenshots and videos of things is basically how these things are kind of known to people. Not everyone is going to download the Nintendo Today app. So it's just a really weird decision to prevent people from taking screenshots or videos and things. So I don't really see the point in them doing that. So I just think that's pretty weird.
I would say that that's one of Nintendo's most brain-dead decisions in a long time. They'll make weird decisions, sometimes ones that are anti-consumer, but what's the benefit? People aren't going to download Nintendo Today just to get their Nintendo news. Eventually it's going to get out, but not at the same rate.
Yeah. But let's discuss Bananza a little more, and also the fact about this direct and things, since we got this direct instead of a general direct. And honestly, I'm actually not disappointed by that. I do think a general direct could happen within the next couple months because we do need to know more information about Metroid Prime 4, Dragon Drive, Kirby Air Riders, and also like Elden Ring and certain third-party announcements and things like that. But right now, I think it's probably best to get more information about Bananza and have Bananza like release and everything. Have basically kind of shed more light on Bananza before they move on to showing more information about other games, because Bananza is a pretty important game. This is basically the Switch 2's equivalent to Odyssey, so I think it really needs all the attention that all the attention that it can get. So I'm kind of satisfied with this Bananza Direct for now. I don't really think we need a general Direct yet. So, I'm not sure about how you feel about that.
I'm actually with you there. The thing with Donkey Kong Bonanza, and it surprised me a little bit in a really good way, considering that Donkey Kong went without a game that wasn't a port for 11 years, it just made me kind of worry, oh, did people forget about Donkey Kong, or he's not been in the spotlight for a long time, what if people aren't interested in Donkey Kong Bonanza? That would be terrible because I'm so excited for this game. But no, Donkey Kong's hibernation just made his grand return even more exciting. And I noticed this when it came to view counts of videos about Donkey Kong Bonanza. My video covering the Donkey Kong Bonanza demo at the Nintendo Switch 2 experience has more views than the one for Mario Kart World. That right there is very exciting. But another exciting aspect about it is just that learning more information about the game. I feel like with this, there's a lot more to say about it.
Oh, yeah.
It's not so much something, and I'll get into this now. With the Mario Kart World Nintendo Direct, we all know it was bad. It was a whole Direct about nothing. I can deal with a bad Nintendo Direct like the Farm Direct because, hey, at least we got the announcement of Pikmin 4. But I would say the Mario Kart World Direct was probably the worst Nintendo Direct we ever got. Because it was just information about stuff we already knew.
Yeah, it was.
And I hate that. It's a complete waste of time.
Yeah, it was literally just a glorified overview trailer. And like you've mentioned before, the trailer that showed more information about Mario Kart World in the Switch 2 Direct was essentially an overview trailer. So there was like literally no point in it. But with Donkey Kong Bonanza, we only got that trailer and just some footage, only footage of like the early areas of the game, like the one that you posted from the Switch 2 event. There's a lot of things that we don't know about the game. It's kind of similar, like I know we're making all these comparisons to Mario Odyssey because it is a very similar game, but it's kind of in a similar way to how Odyssey was. Like Odyssey kind of revealed some information, had some demos available kind of in between like, well, around E3 2017, but, like, they had even more information to show. Like, they still probably have a lot of things that we still don't know about, just due to the nature of the game. Mario Kart World is like a big open game, and since they're doing demos of it, the demos already showed off a ton of information. But with Donkey Kong Bonanza, it kind of seems like it's split up into different areas, so we really don't know about, like, any of the other areas past, like, the first couple areas. So, like, there's, like, quite a lot that we don't know about the game. And I think it's definitely a lot more exciting than the pre-release of Mario Kart World in that way. Like, it's definitely, like, more kind of unknown, more mysterious. So, I think there's just a lot more to learn from this Direct.
Here's the thing, after playing the Mario Kart World demo and the Donkey Kong Bonanza demo at the Nintendo Switch 2 experience, with the Mario Kart demo, the way that worked is you would just be playing as two characters, and yeah, you were set up with another player for the actual races, and for the tracks, I think they were randomly selected. I think that was just randomized, but what happened is, most of the tracks, we saw those, and then pretty much all the characters and most of the costumes were revealed. So there was pretty much no surprise left. I think the only thing we got out of that Mario Kart World Direct was information about the P-switches, but that was about it. But with Donkey Kong Bonanza, it was restricted to just the intro of Ingot Isle, and then Monkey Lagoon. It was called Lagoon Lair, but now we know the name's actually Monkey Lagoon. But with that being said, there's a lot more to be showcased of Donkey Kong Bonanza, and considering some artwork that leaked for the game, I feel like we're going to get an explanation of that. I
Oh
don't think
yeah.
that's going to be a big part of a twist ending or anything like that, because a render's made for it. Do you
Yeah.
really see renders made for like the final boss or twists like that?
No, this is probably gonna be I think this is gonna be the Cappy like twist of the game. You know how Mario Odyssey was originally revealed just with the cap throwing mechanic and not Cappy? Well, at the very end of the first trailer it showed Cappy, but we didn't know what Cappy did or even what his name was until E3 2017. So I feel like this Pauline-esque character that we've seen from the leaked promotional art will be this game's equivalent to Cappy and Odyssey. Like, it will, like, even either if it's like story related or if there's even some kind of gameplay mechanic, like with this Pauline like character, like maybe like it starts off as Odd Rock and then maybe like she switches between like the Pauline-esque character and Odd Rock. I'm not sure, because it does look like this character is related to Odd Rock on top of like kind of being connected to Pauline in some way, because she has like an Odd Rock kind of purple bracelet on, so it kind of seems like it's connected to that in some way. And on top of that, we've also seen like some like mentions of like other characters like Rambi when I think like when DK was talking to Cranky, like it kind of showed like a symbol for Rambi, and we've heard Rambi's theme in like the Nintendo Today app, so we might see that as well. So I think there's definitely a lot that we could see from Bonanza, like based on like some of the little hints we've seen of the game so far, because there have been like little things that have been teased that we haven't actually seen so far that I'm like pretty excited about.
Yeah, I actually do have a prediction for another part of the story that we don't know about yet. So, have you noticed all the crystal NPCs around the area? They're called fractones. And when I hear that name, it makes me think of music. So what I'm assuming another plot point of the game is that characters are turned into these fractones and you have to rescue them. And I believe that Odd Rock could actually be a fractone character that was like turned into one. And that character is going to be the young Pauline-esque character. So yeah, that could be part of the plot where Voidco turns characters into fractones. Could also apply to some of the Kongs. With Cranky Kong, he's kind of like Princess Peach in Super Mario Odyssey, where you talk to him, you get a Banandium gem. Kind of like how you got a Power Moon talking to Peach. So I think with the other Kongs, like, let's just say there's Dixie Kong or Funky Kong turned into a fractone. That could be part of the plot. As for the Pauline-esque character, singing is a part of Odd Rock's ability, so I feel like Pauline singing is going to be a part of it. We don't know if this is a relative of Pauline or a young Pauline, but regardless, the singing is still a common aspect between the characters.
Yeah. And I also think, like, since you're mentioning that some of the fractones might be Kongs, like, I do think in the Direct we might see, like, some of the other Kongs appear, like, if they'll have some kind of role in the game. Like, I had an idea before that maybe, like, if this was a thing in the game, this probably wouldn't be shown in the Direct, but one of my, like, predictions for the game is, like, Diddy Kong being an unlockable character, kind of like how Luigi is in Galaxy. But that would be pretty interesting, but maybe Diddy does show up in the game in some form, maybe with how you were mentioning, but maybe Diddy Kong could have a different role as well, like maybe like almost like Luigi's Balloon World in Odyssey, like there could be something like
I
that.
was just gonna bring that up. They could do Diddy Kong's Balloon World, or an equivalent of that,
Yeah.
or Diddy Kong's Banana Kingdom, something crazy like that. I also have a left field prediction for the game, and this also ties into another Nintendo Switch 2 game. I have a feeling that they're going to announce that Donkey Kong's suspender costume is going to be in Mario Kart World. And they're
Oh
also going to
yeah.
include some of the Kong as characters.
Yeah, I could even see them mentioning that in the direct, like saying like, "Oh, around the time that Donkey Kong Bonanza releases, we'll add some like an update to Mario Kart World that adds like some characters and costumes from Bonanza." I think that's definitely possible, I would say, cuz like I've been thinking they would do some kind of Kong themed update in Mario Kart World around like the kind of promote Bonanza. So I would definitely like kind of expect to see that.
Yeah, I think that's definitely a possibility. And speaking of costumes, we do know that Donkey Kong can change costumes in the game. And I feel like in this Donkey Kong Bonanza Direct, they're actually going to reveal the costumes fully.
Oh
Like
yeah.
with Super Mario Odyssey, it was heavily implied that there would be costumes, but we didn't get to find that out until the second trailer. In terms of Donkey Kong's costumes, that would be a little bit interesting considering he hasn't had that many costumes throughout the series. I mean, sure, you
Yeah.
could do some references like his costume in Skylanders Supercharged or Super Mario Strikers, stuff like that. And I also think that there's going to be a Rareware Donkey Kong as a skin
Yeah.
or like as a costume.
I think the costumes they're like I think the costumes will probably like reference different things from throughout the franchise, like probably a lot of references to the rare DK games. Like maybe there's a Kiddy Kong costume. I could definitely see that happening. Or even though Nintendo doesn't really like acknowledge that character that much, it kind of seems like almost like a weird thing, kind of like how there was like a Diddy Kong costume in Mario Odyssey. So it's like it's kind of like I could see them doing like some crazy like things like that because we've already seen a lot of Rareware references in Bonanza, like either like DK64 music or just various like little things like the Northern Cremisphere like appearing on the fossil map. So I could definitely see a lot of like different like costumes. Like maybe there's like a Chunky Kong costume or like different things like that. Um, I definitely think that would be pretty fitting if they had like some costumes based on like older DK games. So,
Yeah, that'd be really cool.
and also I have another prediction. This is probably not something that will be in the direct, but it's kind of like a general prediction for Bonanza. But we've seen a lot of hints that K. Rool in the Kremlings might be returning in Bonanza, like with the crocoid enemies. Like they basically look like skeletal Kremlings. And just like also just like some of the like patterns on like the stone things that they wear, and just like with how they're designed, and just like how often they seem to appear in the game. I think there's a possibility that K. Rool might be like a like the plot twist of the game. And obviously, like if K. Rool is like controlling Voidco and is like the main villain, we obviously wouldn't see that in the direct. But I do think there are like some possibilities we might get even more clues and hints towards that, like maybe some little things foreshadowing it, but not like anything actually revealing it in the direct. But just so far, it kind of seems like that might actually happen, and it would be really cool if it did.
Yeah, I think that would be really cool to see. We've been waiting for the return of not just DK, but King K. Rool. This would definitely be the game to do that in. And I've watched a lot of Uncle Al's Croc Watch series, and it just seems like at this point, it's been cracked, the theory about K. Rool being in it. I'd be more surprised if he isn't in the game than if he is. But knowing Nintendo sometimes, you never know. I don't think
Yeah,
they would reveal that in the trailer either. They're really going to go the surface level. I think the main highlight is going to be the Pauline-esque character. They're probably going to go over that. More areas in the game that you explore. I know there's one called Orangutan Highway, something along the lines of that. And we might get to learn a little more about the animals that inhabit each of the so-called kingdoms. Because one of them is zebra-themed, another is giraffe-themed, the jungle one has ostrich characters. I don't know what the plural of ostrich is. Ostriches, ostrichi, I think it's ostriches. But yeah,
yeah, yeah.
that's what I predict to see this direct.
Yeah, I hope like since we know that Rambi is probably in the game, I hope more animal friends appear in the game. Like, we have seen, like, an area with, like, ostriches, so maybe Espresso will appear in the game. So I think that would be pretty cool if we, like, saw more of the animal friends again, since that was something that kind of seemed a bit lacking during the retro era. So, hopefully, like, EPD Tokyo will kind of bring them back and bring back, like, even more characters that were kind of prevalent in the Rare era. So, that's kind of what I'm hoping for, too.
Donkey Kong can't exactly swim in the demo from what I played. So unless you unlock that, maybe On Guard will be the way you swim underwater?
Yeah, that would make a lot of sense. So it kind of like it seems like that would, if that was like a thing, like if there were like some water sections of the game, like it seems like On Guard would kind of be like the cheap capture equivalent in Bananza, like the kind of like traverse through water easier. So I could definitely see that happening. But yeah, I think those are our predictions for Bananza. Do you have anything else that you want to add?
I think this about wraps it up on my end in terms of predictions, but what I gotta say now is July 17th can't come soon enough. This is the game I got the Nintendo Switch 2 for. I am so hyped to play it, and considering that I've already put in 55 hours in a Mario Kart world, I'm kind of scared seeing how many hours I'll put into Donkey Kong Bonanza within the first week or so.
Oh yeah, since
since
Mario Odyssey is one of my favorite games of all time. It's like my second favorite, right behind Thousand Year Door. I feel like
That's something we didn't know about you.
Yeah, but Bonanza is probably easily gonna be at least in my top 10 favorite games of all time, if like what we've seen is any indication of how it will be. I'm just really excited. Probably the most excited I've ever been for a Donkey Kong game. I loved DK, but I feel like this is really like gonna get me back into it, because it's been a little while since I've like played through like Tropical Freeze and the other DKC games. But this is like probably the most excited I've ever been for Donkey Kong. I've just been waiting so long for like the grand return of DK. Just like, I remember making videos years ago saying like, are we gonna get a new DK game? Is like back in like 2020, 2021. But it's finally happening. It's finally happening. And it looks better than I feel like any of us could have expected it to be. So I'm just really hyped about Bonanza.
I do wonder with Donkey Kong Bonanza though, or if it was starting off development as an original Nintendo Switch game, because it is interesting that Donkey Kong never got a Nintendo Switch game. So maybe they had it planned. I'd love to see a developer interview.
Yeah.
But I remember back to 2017 where Super Mario Odyssey released. I had to put at least 12 hours into it the first day. Like, I marathoned through that game. And I have a feeling it'd be very similar with Donkey Kong Bonanza.
Oh yeah. But yeah, anyways, Donkey Kong Bonanza is looking absolutely incredible. So let us know what your thoughts on the game are and this direct are down in the comments. And anyways, thank you guys for watching this video. Make sure to subscribe for more, and make sure to check out my Discord server and Blue Sky if you want to. Stay perky!
And keep calm and da-don.